Good morning, everyone. Welcome to the wake up call. How is everyone feeling out of 10?
Good morning. I'm not going to say 10 out of 10 like I always do, but I'll say like a 7 out of 10. It's Halloween, which this is the kickoff to about a 5-month period where there's going to be nonstop candy in my house and I'm trying to lose weight. So 7 out of 10.
7 out of 10. I'm going to say I'm lucky number 11 today.
Mm.
Welcome to the wake up call where we give our hot, weird crypto takes. I'm just trying to set up my TikTok because I don't have my.
Okay.
Yeah, I didn't mean to do that. That's not good. I don't know what just happened there.
Technical difficulties.
Yeah, my computer just hit something. It's all
Uh-oh.
good. There we
All
go.
right.
All right. Sorry about that, guys. Welcome to the wake up call where we give our weird crypto takes, the technical news and analysis. We'll start off with Alex. What's your thoughts on the market today?
Thoughts on the market are, you're going to be shocked by this, guys. Literally the exact same thing that I said last week. Literally the exact same thing. There are two lines in the sand. And so the upper line was hit almost to the dollar this week, and we didn't break it. Now, I need to clarify something. I drew this fib initially from the all-time high in October. And if you look at that, we didn't hit it. But that was a swing pattern failure. That was a point where Ski and I, he pointed out before we went live, we were both bearish. And swing pattern failure, I'm pretty convinced that the traders, the people who need to be paying attention to, are actually following, if you draw the fib from the all-time high in August instead of the one in October. Why does that matter? Well, I mean, if you look at earlier this week, on my live stream, all right, hey, give me your best 10x, 50x, easy 10x play. And that was the day that we got up to 116 and change. We got rejected at the 618 retrace, the upper line in the sand. So that's what I was talking about, the upper line in the sand. What's the lower line in the sand? Let me switch it to a cleaner chart. Let me go to the weekly. What in the world is this? Oh, I'm looking at Cello, not Bitcoin. Let me find the correct Bitcoin chart. Here we go, the weekly with Bitcoin. The 50-week moving average, 50-week SMA, and also the 50-week EMA is very close to the SMA, but I don't have that on here. Let me actually pull that up real quick. So 50-week EMA, the orange line, 50-week EMA is at 100,000 and change, well, 101,000. It's going up. 50-week SMA is $103,000, also going up. Until we breach one of these levels, the upper level, that 618 retrace, 116 and change, or to the downside, the 50-week moving average band, or just the 50-week SMA, 50-week EMA, until that one would have to be a weekly close below those levels. I will be a bear if we have a weekly close below those levels. I will be a mega bull. So I'll be, and I want to be clear about this, I'll be somewhat of I'll be a bear if we lose the 50-week moving average, but I am not of this mindset that then, okay, now we're going to wait until October, November of 2026 and buy Bitcoin 75% lower than where it was when it peaked at 126, if that was the peak, which it wasn't. Okay. So I'll be somewhat of a bear, I'll be a bear for a little bit, for a time, maybe a quarter of the year. If we lose that, and then if we break to the upper side, I will be a mega bull. All right. Market's going down. Yet, on the weekly candles, I'm looking at the weekly candles here. We're holding a very key level, the 200-day moving average. We still have not lost that. With Ethereum, it was looking not so great yesterday, and yet we have held support at the 4-year trend line, at the bull market support band, and so we are holding support. I know your altcoins, they look terrible. They look like an absolute disaster. I mean, hey, QT ended. That is not the beginning of QE, but it is something that we could at least say, hey, that's something. That's something to be more hopeful about than before. And so the two most important cryptos that matter are holding support. And until that changes, then I am going to be of the mindset. I do believe that we're going to break to the upside. So, Devin,
Yes. I have put my line in the sand, and people want me to
just give up,
change.
bro. Just
Yeah,
give up.
just give up.
It's over.
Just be wishy-washy, Ski. Like, say one thing one day and give your line in the sand and put out your critical analysis. And then if those criteria aren't hit, we're uncomfortable. So we're going to need you to change what you're saying and just give up hope, pack it up. See you in 2028. 2028 is going to be lit. All this stuff, right? I put out very clearly what will make me a bear. Okay, so we'll start with that because people accuse me of being a perma-bull, even though I was bearish at 126. I didn't think that we were going to go to 103 by any stretch of the imagination, but I was bearish up here. I did say that we were overbought up here on the 5-hour chart. All these things are true. So this is what would make me a bear right here, is coming from 126, crash down to where we came to, having a dead cat bounce to the 0.5/702 Fibonacci retrace, which this isn't right because this was, I messed this up earlier, but there you go. It went to the 0.5. I don't know why it's looking like this. There we go. We got to the 0.5. So you could say that this is part of the criteria. But then the next part of the criteria, which is this is what will make me bearish. And guess what? I am not going to be a bear for a second, not for a second, ladies and gentlemen, until we take out 103. Because if we do that, it'd be a dead cat bounce to the 0.5, and then we would roll over, making a new low. That is what would make me bearish. Until that happens, I am not going to be bearish for a second. I have outlined clearly what I'm looking for to make me a bear. Until we get that, I'm not going to be bearish. And I don't care how uncomfortable you are with the price action. Guess what? We're higher today than what we were, 2-3 weeks ago, even though it doesn't feel that way. And it feels a lot like this over here. We've talked about this a lot, where it's just lining up almost perfectly with how the 2024 cycle was. And we had this mass capitulation with the Japan rate cuts. We went up, and I remember this like clear as day. The all of this was just emotional warfare. And of course, I'm talking about over here. This whole time period, if my chart would load, was just despair, just maximum disparity, just maximum, like, I can't believe we got our hopes up that entire time. And the funny thing was, after we actually had our capitulation, we actually had our spring in the whole ordeal, was the Japan rate cuts right here. When we came up, people kind of got their hopes up after this point. It was just maximum despair. That was one of the scariest moments that, me and Alex, I think we were live when this were happening. I don't remember, but we were live around the time when we had the big sell-off. And then we came back up. This moment right here was way worse. People were just like, yeah, it's over. We're
September.
done for. Even though this was a higher low. And then we put in a higher high. No one believed in it. Then we put in a higher low. No one believed it. And then we took off. And nobody believed this rally until we were already in the 100Ks, until it was already basically over. So that is, kind of emotionally, maybe not a perfect structural setup, but from an emotional standpoint of just how exhausted everyone is, it reminds me a lot of that. And I put out this tweet, right after the double black swan on the April 10th, I said 28-day low is likely behind us. We have what? We have 10 days until this is a good call. So we'll see. 103 has not been taken out yet. We got pretty close. I don't anticipate it to get taken out. Now, I told you what would make me bearish. Dead cat bounce to the 0.5 rolling over. So let's talk about what's actually happening here and what I actually think is happening. The next big level that we got to get above is 113.2. That's the 5-hour 200 EMA. And then if we can get above that, in all likelihood, I think we're going to make another slight higher high, probably 117, 118. If we all of a sudden have put in 3 higher lows and then 3 higher highs, well, guess what? It starts to look an awful lot like what we just talked about. It starts to look an awful lot like last 2024, or excuse me, last this time frame last cycle, where you had this major capitulation and then you kind of start grueling your way out of here before it actually takes off. And where Alex is going to be a mega bull once we get above these certain levels. So a lot of it is a lot of the same. I have a couple pieces of new data that we're talking about. The Russell is continuing to follow this fractal, which has been a big deal to me on the daily. It's just on top of the 20 EMA and is in full on bullish posture. I want to see it continue to follow this. And gold, I want to see continue to distribute quietly as well. By the way, here's this tweet. When I said I'm selling 40% of my gold today. That's there you go. I'm gonna start putting more tweets on so I don't have to constantly refer to them. So we came back $400 or $500 in gold in a matter of a couple of weeks. That is an insane amount of time. That's an insane move for gold. I've never seen gold move like that. 12% in a matter of how many days was this? Like from the top here down to the bottom, 7 days and 9 hours. Have you ever seen gold move like that in a week? That's insane. Now we found a little bit of support off of the 200, and I expected this. I will probably going to go even to 4,100, 4,200 maybe. All of that is fine. Even getting a dead cat bounce to 4,300, all that is fine. But what I want to see, though, eventually, whether it's here or whether it's here, I want to see gold continue to roll over, continue to make new lows, and continue to distribute. And that is really, this has been stealing our lunch money, basically, in a nutshell. But I absolutely think that gold has topped. Like we talked about, the most overbought that gold has been on the monthly time frame since 1979. Okay. I've never seen any chart where every single time frame it is overbought, but that's how gold was when I decided to sell my gold. The other thing that is encouraging to me is Bitcoin dominance very quietly put in a lower low over here. When was this? Yeah, so very, very quietly, we drew this line in the sand that we talked about, and we took out this low over here, and we went lower to 49.45%. What I would like to see is this high to hold and for us to start to roll ourselves back over. We got to get below 59.2 to start to really roll over. But as of right now, this has just been a dead cat bounce. It wouldn't be weird to fill this out, to be honest. That could be a bit of pain, the 61.5. But where we're at, you could say that, we're starting already to have a bearish divergence here where the RSI is going down and the price is going up. But that is one of the last things that we need this to really start to roll over again and have this continuation. We talked a lot about this being distribution, and we need to have the continuation of the markdown for Bitcoin dominance. As far as Ethereum, Solana, the total 2, total 3, really we have to. I know some of your altcoins are down, and I know it just feels like the depths of despair. But realistically, Bitcoin is the sun, gold is the sun, the Russell is the sun. Those are the most important charts. You cannot put the goose before the gander, or whatever the saying is. You got to put the horse before the water, or the water before the horse, or whatever the saying is. We need to see Bitcoin, gold, and the Russell do their thing so that we know what the altcoins are going to do. But I think if Bitcoin does the move that we are talking about, I think that, guess what? Solana is going to do a similar move. Ethereum is going to do a similar move. what is good for the goose is good for the gander. Those are pretty much my thoughts. There was one other thing I wanted to show. I need to replace my screen here, though. It's kind of difficult here. Hold on. Let me see. One sec. This is about the FOMC meeting. Here we go. The FOMC was, of course, yesterday. They decided to cut 25 basis points, which the market already had priced in. By the way, there's always volatility. Like, I don't know how many times we have to do this. Like, how many times do we have to teach you this lesson, old man? Every single time around the FOMC meeting, there is crazy amounts of volatility. I've been seeing this chart going around a lot, and I think that there definitely is some merit to it, where you have the FOMC meeting followed by an immediate correction and then a new all-time high. FOMC meeting, immediate dark correction, and then a new all-time high. FOMC meeting, immediate start correction, and then a new all-time high. FOMC meeting, a new immediate start correction. We will see if we can get a new all-time high. I think if we do, then Alex will be a mega bull at that point.
Mega bull.
Mega bull. If we put in a new all-time high for Bitcoin. But you know what? The funny thing is, too, is nothing quite like price. You know, we've said this once. We've said it 100 times. Just a little bit of price action pretty much changes the entire story. And I think that is going to be true again. So like 2 days ago, let's share this instead and let's refresh this. 2 days ago, this was at 51 right before the FOMC meeting. This was at 51. And now with a little bit of price action, we're all the way back in extreme fear again. And guess what?
Yeah.
When we get back to 117, guess what? People are going to be neutral / greedy, and then the cycle will continue forever. So those are my thoughts on the market. Q1 or Q4, I don't care. It's structured to me. I'm looking for Bitcoin dominance to roll over. I'm looking for Bitcoin to make a retrace / top of the range. I'm looking for the Russell to continue to go up. I'm looking for those are things I'm looking for. I'm not looking for what specific week or month.
You already know that's my frame of thought. And I'm not just talking to you, Ski, but like, you know, I don't care if it's, I mean, it would be great. How about Q4? You know, I'm surprised Webb's not here. I mean, maybe he is, but he came in my live stream yesterday and told me that altcoins will 3 to 8x between now and the end of the year. And I'm like, Webb, I would not call him a friend of me. I would just say that he drives me crazy. If you're right, I will bow down and I'll cry my tears with all my gains.
Tears of joy.
Yes. Oh, the Webb's here. Yay. All right. So, but it doesn't matter to me. I mean, it matters. Yeah, sure. I'd love it to be sooner rather than later. Doesn't matter to me. Q4, Q1, and I'll go beyond what you any boundaries with that. There's a lot. There is fundamentally on a macro scale, there are a lot of things that have bottomed out that are now hopefully going to be moving up, like liquidity and like the business cycle and other things that have topped out that are going to be going down, like rates. So yes.
By the way, I mean, if gold continues to do what it's doing, if we just continue the pace that we're at, Bitcoin dominance continues to roll over, gold continues to fall, Bitcoin makes a new all-time high, I could definitely see some price action in some altcoins for sure, because it is beyond due.
Yeah.
And that to Webb's point, like there is no warning necessarily other than the things that I'm talking about, but there's no emotional warning before it happens. It's just boring and then it is not. And we wake up one day and there's something up 127% on crypto bubbles.
Yeah, like Aurora yesterday.
Right.
Aurora, when I was like, man, I would love to short this thing, but it's too small of a crypto to short. So that can happen on a dime. I do acknowledge that. I do think it's unlikely for Q4. I think it's very unlikely for Q4. But I hope I'm wrong. I mean, yeah, for Bitcoin to hit a new all-time high, Ethereum, that can definitely happen.
The word around the campfire is that what's his name? The Chinese ruler Xi Jinping.
Yeah.
Him and Trump have come to some sort of agreement, and they're going to delay tariffs for a year.
Sounds good. I mean, that's the same thing, right? So, I mean, that was the big fear in April. And so how long did it take for Bitcoin to hit a new all-time high after the April 7th bottom? It took until May 21st, I mean, so that's for Bitcoin. It took until May 21st. That's about a month and a half. So, I mean, could that happen this time around too? Could it be a month and a half for Bitcoin to hit a new all-time high? Yeah. So that would still be 2025. But I don't think that would necessarily mean that altcoins would go crazy. But who knows? I mean, maybe it could be a faster timeline than that.
Yeah. Who knows what's going to happen for sure. But I would say this, just from a vibes perspective, we could talk about upside euphoria and hopium, but from downside perspective, I don't know about you. I'd be interested to see like your gauge on this. And I think we kind of talked about it a little bit before we went live, but man, from my perspective, even within my own community, which I think are, more intelligent, as a whole than, your average crypto retail investor, it is just pure like despair and capitulation. It's just pure like, just admit you're wrong, or just pack it up. See you in 2028. Just pure like, I'm seeing all kinds of posts on Twitter of I'm done with crypto. Like, I don't know how many. If I've seen one of those, I've seen 76 of those.
Yeah, no. My most recent video on TikTok, just I just basically, I mean, my Bitcoin videos have been very bland lately because I'm saying the same thing over and over again. And it's like, I got comments yesterday like, dude, just admit it. It's over. And I'm like, that is the reason why it's over now, more so like that's a sentiment now, is because it's the fourth quarter of the post-halving year. So I'm just like, all right, let's get some positive price action in the fourth quarter. But like, if it happens beyond that, I'm just going to be really excited. I'm going to be, especially if it happens after the first quarter of 2026. I'm going to be so excited about this idea that finally we can just break free of this very specific timeline that it has to happen on.
Dana said, "I'm tired, boss."
Quoting what's it, the Green Mile. I hear those comments all the time. You're not the only one. I'm tired, but I'm mostly tired of people being tired. I'm just like, anyway. I don't know. Let's say worst case scenario. I mean, worst case. I don't know. Let's say we do lose 103. What's your frame of thought as to where Bitcoin's going to go? I mean, I'd love to hear your.
Well, so I gave ChatGPT. I should make a video about this, or a tweet or a post or something. But let me see if I can just find it real quick. But I gave ChatGPT a lot of context, and I told it about the 7-year cycle, the Shemitah, the 4-year cycle, geopolitical events with the tariff wars, all of these different things like that. Let me see if I can find this little image that I created here. I gave it all the charts for gold, the Russell 2000, for Bitcoin on the 5-hour, the daily, and the 5-day chart. I told it about, you know, the wars that are pending and the tariff wars that are pending. I told it about what else did I tell it about? Uh, just the Wyckoff, Elliott wave. I gave it lots of context to consider, and then I told it to give me a bull case, a bear case, and then a base case, and this is what it gave me. And you know, I'll give you my thoughts on that. But I gave it like I was probably typing for, I don't know, the better part of 30 minutes or something, just giving it context after context after context of the way that I view and what I think is important charts. Oops, got the wrong thing here. Where is my share screen? Let me replace this. Here we go. And so this is what it said. Okay. We got a bear case, a bull case, and a base case. After giving it all of that context, there was a little bit more context that I gave it, but a lot of it is the way that I view the market through what I believe is important charts. Bitcoin dominance, gold, Bitcoin, the Russell 2000, the total 3. Those are the charts that I gave it. I gave it a snapshot of the 5 hour, the daily, the 5 day, and then plus all of the geopolitical events. Oh, the quantitative easing, the Fed cutting rates. Like I gave it all of the geopolitical, economic things, as well as the tariff war, as well as the war in Israel, basically considering everything. And this is what it said. It said bear case is liquidity merge, trade war plus global conflict, derail QE and delay rate cuts. Bitcoin rejects at 115, 120, retraces back to 85 to 90 K. Bitcoin dominance spikes to 61 as alts bleed 40 to 60%. Cycle isn't over, just a postponed reset rally late 2026, blow off top 2027, 2028, the Shemitah. So it's basically saying, this is kind of my bias. Whatever happens, whether we go euphoric now, whether we just kind of march our way along, I do think we're going to have a euphoric blow off top in 2028, 2029. I've, you know, as long as you've known me, that's what I've said. And it gives it a 25% chance of this happening. Bull case is global liquidity, renaissance, Fed cuts plus ETFs. Oh, I talked about all this pending Solana ETFs as well. Can you see this on my screen? What I'm showing, by the way,
I can see it. Yeah, it's really fascinating.
Fed cuts plus ETF fuel superpower. Bitcoin breaks 120, 150, 180 by 2026. Bitcoin dominance rolls over. Total 3, 6 to 10x full alt season. Liquidity overwhelms macro fear, melts up through 2027, resets 2028. So it gives this a 35 to 40% chance of happening. And then the base case is strategic expansion, gradual QE, contain wars, 2-phase bull, Bitcoin 85 to 150. That's a huge range.
Yeah.
Breakout mid 2026. Bitcoin dominance flat, breaks 59, alts run Q2, Q3 2025. I think it means 2026. Sometimes ChatGPT's time is off. Euphoria peaks 2026, tops forms 2027, resets 2028. Not a straight line, but the best window since I think 2000. It says 200 there, but there you go.
What question? I see a question from Crayon Day, which I'm wondering, why does base case have alts running in Q2, Q3 2025? Is that a typo?
I think it's a typo.
2026?
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
It didn't. So I asked it to make me a graphic after it gave me its answer. So I think it was just like a, whatever they call it, where it kind of goes off the rails a bit.
All right. Yeah. Sorry, that's this is this infographic that you've posted here. I mean, like, I could see any of those happening. I just the thing that I firmly reject is this idea that 2026 is going to be this typical bear market year where Bitcoin goes down 75, 80% from its peak. Like that just, to me, with everything factored in, with the ETFs, with the fact, I mean, if the ETFs never launched, where would Bitcoin have peaked? I don't think it would have gone over $100,000.
Mm.
You know, and so like you could say without the ETFs, this entire year would have just been like a bear market year. And then you know, everything I've been talking about from a macro perspective, this aligns very well. All three of them are like very much in line with just what's going on in my brain.
Yeah. So
So
okay, so the original question, which I didn't answer, I just wanted to show you this because I thought it was
mhm,
cool. The original question: if we lose 103, what does that mean? I
yeah,
do think it means that we go to 90K, 85K, and then we probably have maybe a month of down to that, and then maybe a month to 2-3 months of accumulation before having a mini little bear market like we had in April. Like
yeah,
that was full distribution. Then we had our full markdown, and then we had that to me is the absolute worst case scenario. If we lose 103, and then it would be a lot of like what you were talking about pretty much all along. Where I think our strengths are very different, and some of our weaknesses are different as well. Where
yeah,
I feel like I've been pretty lockstep with Bitcoin for most of our time together. Whereas you were more like macro on point, where you were full bearish in December of 24. You started getting bullish in April of 2025 after the tariffs, which I was bullish then too. And then you've always said 2026 was your timeline. So that's been true to what you've said pretty much the entire time, where I think that I've been more in lockstep with the master bottom feeler and measuring Bitcoin and the
yeah,
specific gold and stuff like that.
yeah. Um, there's a comment that I really resonate with here from Bonio84. The whole bull cycle we've seen so far isn't part of the bull cycle. That was just an ETF pump. The bull cycle is
Mm,
next year to debt being rolled 12 months from COVID. ISM Russell still to top.
wow.
That's essentially what I was trying to say. You know, so let's see. Yeah, you did say last year you don't think it will happen in 2025. Here's the crazy thing about 2025 is if I look at this whole year from where I thought we were going to be, I'm sorry guys, like 2025 has been a pleasant surprise for me. I know that like I know everything 2025 has sucked big time. But like I'm on record saying that I thought Bitcoin was going to be closer to bear market bottom around this time. So Bitcoin's way higher than I thought it was going to be. So, and then altcoins, of course, I mean, they've been terrible, but anyway.
Yeah. To your point too of what you said, one thing that you said too was like, this idea that we're going to crash 70% and, see you in 4 years. It's like, man, Bitcoin has been super resilient throughout all of this
Yeah.
chaos, through all the wars, through all the trade wars, through all the tariffs, through all of, the literally threats of nuclear war. Bitcoin has been very, very resistant. And I always think about it just fundamentally. It's like the last time we were at 70% would be what? 30K from here, or 40K. It's just like the last time we were there, the amount of inflation was double. And I'm talking about, of course, for
Yeah.
Bitcoin. So it's like, man, it takes a lot of half of the buying pressure essentially and double the selling pressure to get us there, because there's less circulating supply, or there's less new inflation for Bitcoin. So I just think that is a major factor as well, of like when we were there in 30K, 40K last time, we didn't have that happening. And that's a real thing. That is the most
Yeah.
economic, whether it's like it creates this magical cycle or not, I don't know, but it is a real economics 101. Supply plus demand
Definitely.
equals price. And
It's
if
a
you have,
thing.
if you have less supply, like that's just economics 101. So yeah,
Yeah.
I'm definitely with you. I think worst case, like absolute worst case, and definitely not my base case or what I think as well. is if we lose 103, and then, like I said, I'll be bear, but it's not going to be this like, oh, I'm going to be a 4-year bear. I'll see you
Yeah.
in 4 years, or anything like that. And I don't think it's going to be nearly as catastrophic as people think. And I think that people are going to be wrong-footed because they're going to be just like every time they're going to be bearish way too long, and then they're going to miss.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Sorry, the pain for 2026, I think, is I wouldn't be surprised. Like, let's say we do lose 103, and then we do go down. We go down to 85, 90K. I wouldn't be surprised if like the first quarter looked like, oh, just like where everyone's talking about the bear market, or the first couple months of 2026, and then the market does this major zig when everyone's expecting it to zag, and then the people. The commoner mindset, the retail mindset is like, all right, you know what? I've learned my lesson. I'm going to buy Bitcoin at $30,000, $40,000, and I'm just going to hold it. And I'm going to see a guaranteed 8x in my holdings in 2028. And then they're just going to get left in the dust.
Yeah.
And that's going to be the pain of 2026.
Yeah.
So,
by the way, I don't even think we're going to lose 103. Like, I would have to, that would mean I was wrong about, that would mean that I'd be wrong about my tweet over here where I said that the 28-day bottom is in. That's what I put out. Let me share my other screen. It's not letting me. That's weird. I don't even see the ability.
So any chance it goes up like November, December last year, and then drops when people expect the same? And then Joyce Silver. So no altcoin season this year. There's a chance. November and December could be fantastic months. There is certainly a chance.
I still don't. Do you see my charts here?
Yes.
Okay. It's being weird on my end, but yeah. So 28-day low, I think that's what I think. So I don't even think we're going to lose 103, but I'm not going to be naive and, just have no plan if it happens, you know what I mean? But I still think that there's a chance if Bitcoin gets to the top of the range and Bitcoin dominance continues to roll over, like, guess what? Nothing quite like price to change sentiment.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's a huge risk is, people are going to be way too bearish for way too long, just like they always are.
Yeah. Now listen, I don't think altcoin season ended this year, but again, Joyce, I haven't seen you around. If you're new to this, that's been my perspective for a long time. I will say, I was very hopeful for Q4, and I'm less hopeful now. All right. So going into October, I was, October, all that. And it's been a rough October. But I was never calling for alt season. I was calling for, an altcoin performance similar to last December, which December last year was not alt season. It was an altcoin run.
Yeah, man, that was whoever said that, was it Bonnie? That was Bonnie, good, that was a really good comment by Bonnie. It's like, this hasn't been a proper bull run. This has been an ETF run.
Yeah.
And so maybe we do have more in store. We'll see. Redemption says, in some ways, Asher had the same negative effect on the market that the Trump coin liquidity market sucker.
Yeah. Yeah. I bought $100 of Aster. I have no idea what it's worth right now. But so I haven't done a deep dive on it, but there was certainly some way that Aster contributed to that insanity that we saw a couple weeks ago.
The web says, this November, December, last 2 months for crypto. I think what he's referring to is like the seasonality. It is true. November, the highest performing month for crypto year after year, except for when we were at the FTX. That was one of the worst performing months. But most of the time, 40% return average. That's what we got last year. Like, we talked about this a little bit, and you said, you don't think it's going to happen. But also, I don't think we would be shocked either.
Yeah.
Is if at the buzzer tonight, we see a run on Bitcoin to close green for the month. and then we get a magical not magic, but like we see it all the time where it's like at the
Yeah.
buzzer, whatever needs to happen happens.
Yeah.
And then getting a even a 20% move on Bitcoin, I think would be substantial for everything else as well.
Yeah. Hey, I'm all for it. Let's do it. Whether my opinion on it is what plays itself out or not,
Jay says retail is not excited about crypto. Great. Let me know when they are, Jay, on a serious note.
So we can sell.
Yeah, literally. Yeah, and that's a good point. Like we talked about this already, but from my perspective, it is peak despair of just
Yeah.
misery, and that is a beautiful, beautiful sign.
I would say that sentiment is worse now than it was in April.
Which is crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's insane how bad the sentiment is, because it's not like that's true. Is like the fear was worse in April, I think, but there were some people that were hopeful. There were some people that were like optimistic, but now it's just there is none of that. There is no. It's fear plus misery. There is no hope. There is no none of that.
Grizzly says all about expectations. It's all about expectations. In April, what we're expecting. I mean, I think we were prepared for sell in May and go away. Here we are in Q4. This is it. It's supposed to be this time. So yes.
I still think April was worse because it was market wide.
I mean, here's something that makes right now difficult, and this is something that I feel is like I've seen a lot of screenshots of people's portfolios with their stock accounts. And my stock account's been doing pretty well, but it's like it's not to the extent that these people have been on X and everything. So like, and then gold rips like crazy. It is certainly a feeling of missing out because there's been some solid gains with the stock market and with gold.
Yeah. I've never seen euphoria in gold like that in my time.
I mean, I remember 2021 when Bitcoin peaked at $69,000, it went down to $63,000 and people were really terrified. Like they were, there was hope, people are like, but I mean, sentiment was really low, even just that little bit of a move down because we were supposed to be going to 100,000.
100K ain't no other way. Yeah, I remember that.
Yeah.
And it was just like, I had a good friend of mine. We were very mischievous together. We were, like the don't put the siblings together because we just caused a lot of trouble. That's how we were. And he was a good friend of mine when I was in the Army. And, we didn't make very much money at all. And he had bought Dogecoin like super, super low. And, like he was showing me his portfolio and it was like, it was a significant amount of money. It was, over $100,000. Even back then, especially for him, like that was life-changing money. And I like was begging him to sell. I was like, bro, just take profit. I was mining Ethereum at the time. It was like, I was like, you could get a Doge miner, you could mine Doge passively, like you could do all these things. I was like, this can change your life. You need to change your life. And he was like, we're gonna wait for SNL. It's gonna go to. He told me a dollar. Yep. And then he started like moving the goal. Well, he said 50 cents. It was his first thing, and then we got there, and then I was like, all right, we're here, bro. You have to take profit. And like I begged him to take profit, and then he was like $1, and then he's just moved the goalposts. And to his credit, he round tripped it. Like he's still holding on to it to this day. But it's like, man,
wow, that's insane.
Yeah.
I mean, he's still up big at least.
Yeah, he's still up big. Yeah.
Crayon Dave made a comment here about Japanese stock portfolio. Japanese stocks have gone insane. That's the thing that that just makes me like I'm no matter what happens with crypto, I'm very bullish on the stock market with 2026, and I think it's going to be a 1999 type scenario, and Japan kind of like informs that a little bit because like if you know what's going on in Japan, Japan is the United States 20 years from now. You know, Japan is what the United States will be 20 years from now. And if Japan stocks are ripping, that of all things that don't make sense, Japanese stocks, the Nikkei ripping, it makes no sense to me. And that's kind of like it. Listen, from like an economic perspective, a macro perspective, it's like it can feel like we're going to collapse any day now, and yet we have these irrational pumps in the market that are very difficult to time the peak of, and people will be calling top all the way up. And so why would, I kind of have a perspective of like, why would crypto just go down to, 2026 being the bear market for crypto if everything else is going to be melting up? So another thing I want to comment about, by the way, is somebody commented about Tau. There are some cryptos that look really strong right now. So Tau looks like it's breaking some resistance, and then Arrow's also looking very, very strong as well. So that's really intriguing to me that some of these cryptos are actually, I mean, forget about Zcash, another one, but some of these cryptos look really solid.
Yeah, that's the thing. Boring, boring, boring until it's not. Zeno says, strange every day, good news, but no upside. And that's a good point. And it kind of reminds me a lot of like 2023, where we were getting some price action, but there was just way more ETFs, anticipation of like ETFs, and like, all of these things. There was like so much more news positive than the actual price action. And it took a while to catch up to that.
Yeah.
Doug says, towel send.
Yeah, I mean, and I've talked about my thoughts with AI cryptos. I think the older ones I wouldn't touch because they've already had their 100x gains from the bear market bottom. But the newer ones I'm more in favor of, like Tau. And Tau looks really strong right now. Forgot I held Arrow. Better go have a look. I mean, Arrow just broke a downtrend. That's the big thing I'm paying attention to. It's a clear break of a downtrend, and so it's not like it's hitting new all-time highs or anything. But Arrow looks good.
I think I sent Ski more in gifts than I've invested at this point. I appreciate it, brother. Weekly USDT dominance looking bearish long term for crypto. I can see us getting more pump than making model one on USDT alts.
Bearish on the weekly. Okay. Yeah, I can see that.
Bought Ondo and ICP today. So you think Q1 2026 all season? I have listen, I'm looking for structure. I don't care about the time. Okay.
Yeah.
If you want to get by this hour prediction, you're not going to get it. I'm looking at structure. I like the structural setup that we have. Gold to me has absolutely emphatically topped. Bitcoin dominance has absolutely emphatically topped in a macro perspective. Now, is it going to retrace to 61%? We'll see. That could be some pain short term, but like, what did we get to? 65% for Bitcoin dominance?
66.
Do you remember what the absolute 66?
Yeah.
So like Bitcoin dominance has topped. Gold has topped. Now, that doesn't mean a straight line down because we've topped, but these are major, major, major things. The Russell 2000 has made a new all-time high. It doesn't mean straight line breakout. It doesn't mean like today we're going to see it. Tomorrow we'll see this. But all of the setups all around us are there for something good. We'll see how long it takes.
Yeah.
But yeah, you're not going to find, if by blah, 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 the only thing I'll do that with is the bottoms. And I already put out my tweet, like 28-day low is most likely behind us. I put that out October 11th, right after we went to 103. I'm down 50% on LCX. Should I hold through the bear market or sell at a loss after December or January?
I'll let you take that.
It just depends, like, like what portion of your portfolio is LCX? Is LCX your whole portfolio? Is like, what is your conviction on LCX? Have you read their white paper? Do you know about their team, or are you just buying it because magic internet money go up? Like, how bought in are you? How big of a believer are you? If you believe in it, you believe in the team, you believe in the project, you researched about it, you've done your homework, and you have high conviction, then and it's not like a substantial amount of your portfolio where you can afford to just write it out, then I think LCX is a solid project. If A, B, and C have not been checked, then you might consider rotating. What do you think?
I have no disagreement with what you said. I mean, like, I look at the LCX chart and I'm like, I'm thankful I don't hold any. But, looking at the weekly, looking at like even, it is putting in, there's a floor here that it's holding pretty well. So might as well just hold on to it, I suppose. I just, I mean, these junk coins, like,
I think it's a solid enough project where you could hold it.
yeah,
But one thing, okay, I'll say this. One thing that I have learned that you already talked about being a mistake, and I'll probably get burned with it a little bit. But one thing that I think I will do differently moving forward, and Bitcoin is already the largest part of my portfolio, but I think it's going to be a bigger part. And I'm just going to view most altcoins as like, penny stocks, spec assets,
yeah,
where Bitcoin is more of my fundamental thing, which it's already like that. But I think I'm going to shift the percentage. Like this cycle has made me more of a Bitcoin maxi.
sure.
But I'm not a Bitcoin maxi, but I am a mostly, and it's made me more of that. It's like, man, a lot of this stuff, it's just gonna eventually rotate into Bitcoin. So, and I think if you had just been trading Bitcoin or just holding Bitcoin this whole time, like, it's been a good ride.
Yeah, holding Bitcoin and shorting altcoins. I mean, I was talking about on my live stream yesterday, like if I were to pull up every long and short that I've done, I have no doubt my shorts have done much better than my longs, and it's like it's fighting against my heart. Basically, it's like I want the prices to go up. I want there to be alt season. I want these cryptos to skyrocket and put in their 50 100x's. And yet, and so when I short, I'm doing something that is like opposed to my emotions, and I think that has caused me to do better on my shorts, and so that's mostly what I've been focusing on lately. And maybe, maybe with my trading portfolio, one day that's going to be a terrible move. But hey, one, go ahead.
Shoot. It's TikTok's making me verify I'm not a robot. I just want to clarify, I'm not rotating into Bitcoin. If anything, I'm looking to sell some more Bitcoin here, but just like going forward, accumulation through the bear markets or through the depths, like I'm going to be heavier positioned in Bitcoin than even I was this last time, which I think it was like, I think probably like 65% of my portfolio was Bitcoin, something like that. And so, yeah, I'll say this, like the trading challenge that I'm doing from $1,000 to $100,000, I'm like only trading Bitcoin and gold. That's it. Because those to me, like I have exponentially more chart time on Bitcoin and they're exponentially more easy to read, where it's like, man, trading altcoins, man, it's like they make really big moves, but like you said, a lot of times they are bearish and then they have these violent bullish ones. I would just rather trade Bitcoin because I'm just doing very well, consistently getting 20, 40, 50, 100% gain.
It's easier to do TA on Bitcoin. I mean, at least for me, because
Me too.
The first price that I check every day is Bitcoin, and so it's always on my mind. If you were to ask me what what price anything other than Bitcoin, Ethereum. Thank you. I think that was for me, but thank you, Bubba Disco. I wouldn't be able to tell you what off the top of my head. You asked me what Bitcoin's price is. It's just always on my mind. So let me answer a question here. Would you be able to advise when you sell Rismus? Let me just say this: Rismus peaked on November 28th of last year. So I'm not thinking it could do something differently. I'm not thinking that I'm going to be holding on to all that much of it in December, but I do think it will go up aggressively. And when it goes up aggressively, I'm going to be selling hard. I'll probably start DC, like selling just a little bit, like $100 a day, like November 11th, no matter what. So anyway.
What's the world? We calling it a bear market or what? LOL. No, listen, verily, verily, I say unto thee, until 103 gets taken out, it will be a bull for me.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah. So that's what will make me bearish. If we take out 103, okay, sure. But until then, I will be a bull.
Same exact mindset, but I think for different reasons.
But you didn't have a cool riddle from the Gospel of
Yes. Yes.
It's written in red. Verily, verily. Bitcoin's running. We're at 111.
Oh man.
We're so back.
We are so back. Hey, Ski, give me your best 20x, a comfortable, safe 20x.
There's no such thing. But Solnick, he top 20x plays.
There we go.
Outside of that, probably Dynex, Flux.
I don't know. Yeah, I still have some Dynex. I haven't been paying attention to it.
I think it's bottom. I mean, it's had a pretty good. I haven't looked at it in a while, but it's working on accumulation. That's still my. Even just just getting to the 236 is it's yeah, like it's held up actually pretty daggone well. Like considered, like it didn't make a new low. Like this is accumulation, so this is a strong looking chart at this point.
Are you? You're not showing. It's my screen. If you're looking at something,
my bad.
Oh yeah, Dynex. Is that Dynex?
This is Dynex. So this is the 5 hour. I'll go on the daily, but even through the April, because they're not on a lot of exchanges, so you didn't see the big liquidity sweep from these scam exchanges. But yeah, you had a clear, distribution over here. You had your clear markdown, and at this point, we've clearly broken. We've clearly broken this this markdown here, and we put in higher highs and higher lows at this point. We're trading. We're still fighting with the 200, but quietly we have flipped bullish on the posture on the daily. So we just got to get back above, 0.42 cents, and that puts you in the most bullish posture. But I like how it's just been ranging here.
Yeah.
I mean, even just getting to the 236, I think is
that would be huge.
Yeah. Like it's nothing. That's an 8x. So I mean,
let's do it.
You're talking like my favorite 20x play. So the 618 is a 20x. And do I think it can get to the 618? I do.
Yeah.
So,
do you have your thing?
I do have my thing. I do got to run.
All right.
All right, guys. I appreciate you. Appreciate each and every one of you guys. Make sure you guys like, subscribe, follow us on TikTok, YouTube, Instagram, Twitter, Twitch. We will never message you. Any closing thoughts?
Yeah, stop telling us to admit that it's over, because it's not over.
Yes. Verily, verily, I say unto thee, until Bitcoin loses 103, it is a bull for me. Okay?
Yes.
So I don't care how uncomfortable you get. I'm not changing that until we lose 103. I don't care if you are on full tilt and anxious to the max, and you know your psychiatrist hasn't quite dialed in your prescription yet. I don't care. I am a bull until we lose 103.
Yeah.
What's the 618 for Dynex? All right, at the buzzer, 84 cents. All right, guys, that's gonna be it for this time. Peace, love, prosperity. God first. God bless.